Hey, what's up guys and welcome back to Making 3, and today I'm going to be giving you part 6 of What If Naruto Got the Karma Seal from Otsutsuki. Remember to get this one to 100 like as usual, share this thought with your friends on your social media platform, and also guys, don't forget to go ahead and check out the other channels. Yes, I indeed have 4 channels which I post what if on every single day for you guys to enjoy. So go ahead and click that red subscribe button and become a part of the Making family. And thank you for all of your help and your support. Remember to comment down below and tell me if you're new. I'll be planning talking back to all of you. And also don't forget to turn on the bell notification and see exactly when I post, because I do post a lot. So without further ado or wasting more time, what do you say we jump right into this brand new episode? Begin now guys. So, the last spot we left off, everything was going fine, even when they attacked. The bridge was filled, as Natsumai and Sasuke had faced off against Haku inside of the ice prison that she had been trapped inside of. With that happening, things went quickly chaotic, as Sasuke took an attack that would have taken down Natsumai. She released the Nine-Tails chakra. She went ballistic, destroying everything. However, before she could end Haku's life though, she realized who it was. The same person she had spoken to. That is when Reiga arrived and blasted her off the bridge. However, Naruto was there just on time as he jumped forward and caught her before bursting out of the water. However, Reiga saw the headband that Naruto was wearing. Believing that he was here for him, which he was, Reiga fired a blast towards him. Naruto could not dodge in time as he tossed Natsumai. Haku caught her. Naruto was electrocuted as he screamed out. Reiga rushed forward and slashed Naruto across the chest and across the stomach as well with his blades, before kicking Naruto in the water. As Darui shot forward, however, Reiga stopped him from jumping into the water as they clashed. Naruto's other 2 teammates making their way. That was until a sense of bloodlust filled the entire place. Everyone stopped what they were doing as they felt an overwhelming power. Naruto emerged out of the water. However, now his eye was completely green. The markings on his right arm, only his right eye was green as well. And also the crown-like horn that went around his head. However, it was no longer Naruto the way he spoke. Reiga had tried to attack him once again. However, Yui had taken over after Naruto had been put in this state. She proceeded to grab Reiga as she flew him up straight up before she gathered the clouds. Everyone was shocked as they watched the scene. Sakura, hearing Darui, called out Naruto's name as she then pulled electricity from the clouds after sending her chakra inside of it. She then proceeded to burn Reiga until he was nothing. His body was blackened. You could not even see an inch of him. By the time she was done, his body burst into black smoke and vanished. With that said and done, she turned her sights towards the bandits as she proceeded to stomp her feet. Upon doing that, a green glow washed over the bridge. The support beams of the bridge gave way and started to attack. She sent the green glow in the water as well, able to make it come to life of a sorts. It turned into a monster and swallowed all the bandits. She then used wind and turned them into, well, basically a blender, as the bandits were sliced and diced. The water completely turning red. She then turned her sights upon the others. However, Naruto grabbed his own hand, stopping her. She had enough control over his body. Kakashi was able to see Naruto's face was confused. because the boy reminded him of someone. As Naruto regained control, but he passed out. His team quickly taking him out of there. Zabuza had left after that, with Haku in tow, as Natsume was taken back on her feet by Kakashi. So with that, they split up. Naruto was brought back to the hotel, as he figured that it was time, so he told his teammates everything, worried what their reaction might be. However, they were confident that he could beat this. The things that he's done in the past couple of months were nothing short than remarkable. He was Naruto after all. There was no way he will fail, as that brought a bright smile to his face, loving the confidence that his team placed in him, and besides, they would be by his side and help him in his little problem. So with that, Team 7 was also going through a dilemma as well, after the whole battle. Natsume could not quite remember what she wanted to see. She had saw something, but she couldn't remember what it was. Kakashi, wondering to himself if that boy was Naruto. Don't get him wrong, Naruto was by all means dead because of the implications of what was shown at the site. However, the boy looked so much like him, it was just mind-boggling. But Kakashi didn't want to bring it up and end up bringing the family back into something that they've tried so hard to, well, get past. He had no intentions of hurting them. So with that, they headed off back to the village. Sakura had remembered what the name was called, but she had not said anything about it. It didn't take long for them to get back to the village. Upon arriving back home, as they were in the office, Natsume was looking at a photo. As she looked towards a photo of Naruto when he was younger, her eyes then snapped open wide. It was him. Kakashi, realizing that it must be him if she had saw it as well. As Minato was shocked, that is when Sakura had said the name. No, that was beyond shocking for them to hear. At Kumo though, upon explaining what had happened, as they had found the scrolls from Riga at Gato's place, not to mention a huge sum of money, they also delivered the body of Gato towards the people alive. He was tied up right in the middle of Land of Wave, as they left some money for the people there to rebuild and get back on their feet, while the rest they took to the village. They were still ninjas after all. His sister was worried about him, greatly so, despite him telling her that he was fine. However, now Naruto was able to enter his mindscape on his own. He warned Yui, as he told her he didn't care who she was running from, or what was her problem, but if she ever tried to hurt his friends again, he would find a way to kill her. Yui was actually shaking as she saw the look in his eyes, as Naruto was dead serious. It didn't matter how hard it would be, but he would find a way to end her life. So with that, they had scanned Sakura Man and Konoha, as they were able to see. Kushina and Mito had arrived on the scene as well, as they were told what happened. All of them were beyond shock, as they couldn't believe it. Naruto was alive? They were shocked beyond disbelief, tears in their eyes. However, they realized something. He was a ninja of Kumo. Kumo had taken him and turned him into a ninja of their village. Kushina was angry, as this brought back memories of when she was younger and they tried to kidnap her. Rage overtook her. Uncontrollable rage. She will make them pay. All of them. And she will get her son back no matter what. So yeah guys, basically I split off. You guys can switch across the play, check it for yourself. So what do you say we jump right into this new episode begin? Now guys, Naruto sat on a mountain top, his white hair being jostled by the wind. However, suddenly, as his eyes were closed, blue markings started to appear on his right arm. As they ran up, coming from the center where the star was, going straight over his right eye. As Naruto opened his eyes, "I have a lot more control than before," said Naruto as someone else stood there, as he clenched his fist and opened it. "I've noticed something though. Given what I was told when I was unconscious, it seems like when you take over my body from the inside, my right eye become green, and so are these markings, but when I'm in control, they're blue. But this is an extension of her power that has bonded with me," she said to herself, because of the state that she was in. Her power had bonded with me. "This is all I can access at the moment," said Naruto. However, it does increase everything about me. Especially my eyesight, said Naruto. So, what you're saying is, as long as you're not brutally knocked out or placed in a life and death situation in a battle or on a mission, you will have total control and she won't be able to take over your body. The person that was standing there was none other than Samui, one of Naruto's closest friends. She was currently 15 at the moment, going on to 16. She had really matured and grown over the past couple of years. However, it was a certain trait that ran in her family, as Naruto had noticed them as well. Despite her being one of his bestest friends, he was still a boy, and not to mention, at the age he was, well, things were complicated for him, in terms of the opposite gender, when noticing them. However, he tried his best not to do that regarding her. She was one of his best friends after all. However, she was not helping most times when she decided to tease him. So, why did we have to come all the way up here just for you to show me this, said Samui. Yes, she knew everything, as she was one of the people that Naruto trusted the most. So she knew everything about, well, everything. That's because I've not told my sister or the Raikage or my team about this just yet, said Naruto. Why not, she said, looking down towards him, as Naruto picked himself up, as the markings vanish. It's quite simple. Once I tell the Raikage, he's gonna have more tests be done on me. Not that the tests are awful or anything, it's just, well, they're gonna tell my sister, and then she's gonna be worried, and they might take me off active duty because they might think there's a problem. But I promise you, I have this totally under control. Samui stepped in front of him, like ridiculously close as she looked into his eyes. Are you sure you have this under control, she said. Yes, said Naruto. Alright then, she said, turn away. She would not doubt him because he never lied to her. However, she just wanted to make sure that he was not doing anything stupid. But she had known Naruto for quite some time now, and he was not one that would put his friends and family in danger. However, she noticed a faraway look in his eyes. What's wrong? Well, there's someone I can't really get off my mind, said Naruto. Who is it? She asks. It's a girl. Oh, I see, said Samui as she placed a hand on her chest. I knew that something like this might happen because of the constant amount of time that we spent together. Your crush for me has turned into love, hasn't it? Oh, what? Said Naruto. Don't be ashamed, Naruto-kun, she said. It is quite natural to develop feelings for the opposite sex that you spend majority of your time with. Naruto could not tell if she was joking or not. That was one thing that he could never decipher about her. Her face was just so calm and relaxed that he could not tell if she was joking. Actually, said Naruto, it's not about you. It's about another girl. She grabbed him by the shirt. You're cheating on me, she said. You know we're not dating, right? Said Naruto. You heartless bastard, she said, slapping him across the face. As Naruto blinked. Was that really necessary? It was, she said. I'm beginning to dive deeper into my acting. Your acting? Of course. A kunoichi, especially on a mission, always have to be in a constant role. To be able to adapt to any situation, to be able to blend in, to seduce, to do whatever it takes for the mission completion. And in order to do so, your acting must be on point. And I'm getting better, she said. Did you really have to slap me though, said Naruto. It was a part of the performance. Tuh, could have fooled me. Or maybe you're just jealous that I'm talking about another girl. Well, it doesn't matter, she said. After all, in the future, you and I are going to end up married. What? Said Naruto. I mean, it's only logical. I've known you since you were 8 years old. You spend majority of your time with me when you're not on missions. You tell me all of your secrets. And I do the same for you as well because I trust you, even more than my own teammates. That is a clear example of the bond that we share with one another. Yes, I might be 2 years older than you, almost 3, but that age difference is really nothing. And besides, we're gonna get married in the future, so there's nothing to worry about. This is your acting, right? Said Naruto, as he looked at her. As he still could not tell if she was joking or not. She shrugged her shoulders. Who knows, she said to him. You're just gonna have to figure it out. But you know I don't have to get married to you, right? Said Naruto. And who told you you have a choice? She told him. I did, said Naruto. Keep on believing that, young man, she said. As Naruto looked towards her quizzically, her face was blank and calm as usual. I still can't understand if you're messing with me or not. You know what? Forget about it, said Naruto. As I was saying, wait, what the hell was I talking about? She folded her arms. Oh, you forgot. You were talking about the girl you're cheating on me with. Naruto sighed. Look, you remember the mission I told you about, right? Where I went ballistic and all that crap. Yeah, she said. That girl that I saved. It's strange. What's strange, she asks. I can't understand, but it's like I knew her. Almost like we've known each other for a long time. The thought of her dying scared me. And that's weird, right? I mean, I just met her. I mean, I've never physically seen her before, and yet, when I saw her falling, I would have thrown myself in the water 10 times over in order to save her life. It doesn't matter what the danger was down there. Well, that's quite strange, said Samui, as she looked at him. Maybe there is some kind of bond between you two. Perhaps love at first sight. Do you really believe in that kind of thing, said Naruto. I'm not sure, she said. The jury is still out on that. It's a simple question, do you believe in it or not, said Naruto. And I said, I'm not sure. Do you, she asks. Well, do I think that everyone has someone out there for them? Soulmate? You remember that stupid book that you told me about? Yeah? You mean the greatest book in the world? Yeah, with that lovey-dovey crap, said Naruto. I don't believe in that. But to see someone and fall for them that easily, that's pretty strange. Yet, I'm not sure what I felt. I'm not sure what love feels like. Well, I know I love my big sister, but that's sisterly love. And I know I love you as well. But you're my best friend, said Naruto. And I love you too, she said. Yeah, we love each other, said Naruto. As I was saying, this felt strange. It almost feel like I just wanted to protect her. That's odd. Maybe. You'll figure it out someday. Now stop trying to make me jealous and let's go. As she grabbed his arm. Where are we going? We finally both get some time off together. So, you're gonna take me to go and eat something and then we're gonna go and hit the hot spring, she said. I really need the hot water to tender to my sore muscles. And let me guess, said Naruto. I'm pain. She turned towards him with a small smirk. Well, of course, she said. That's a gentleman thing to do. And you're the perfect gentleman, aren't you, Naruto-kun, she said, with a smirk still plastered on her features. You're lucky you're cute, said Naruto. I know, she said, as they made their way down. Majority of the ninjas of Komo live up in the higher regions, while majority of the regular people live down below the high mountains. And down there was where majority of the festivities were kept, and not to mention where all the exquisite bathhouses were. So with that, Naruto and Samui made their way. The both of them had some time off after constant missions recently. It has been 3 weeks since Naruto had taken part in that mission towards the land of Wave, and he had went on several missions since. His teammates were at his side to help him come over whatever this thing was. Since then, Naruto had not spoken to Yui after he had threatened her. As Naruto did not care how she felt about that though. She almost attacked his friends, and that was something that he could never forgive. So with that, they went to get something to eat. Upon doing that, they relaxed and eat and chat about normal day-to-day things. Once that was said and done, they hit the hot springs. Meanwhile, at the Raikage's office, the Raikage sat in his chair. In front of him was a dark-skinned young woman with green eyes and white hair, dressed in a high-collared dress shirt and skirt as well. She was Mabui, the faithful assistant of the Raikage, as she stood there with a clipboard in her hand. It seemed to be genuine, she said, looking towards her boss. The Raikage was looking over a piece of paper in his hand, with the Hokage official stamp on it. It was an invitation to the chunin exams that will be taking place in Konoha. A week away from today, there was also the listing of the other nations that were given an invite to said exam because of the peace treaty that was signed between Kumo and Konoha around 10 years ago. That had kept the peace between the two nations. The Raikage had think to sabotage this, however, with Minato alive, he had decided against his thoughts and decided to take a better judgment and not to do something so stupid that might cause a war between them. But since then there has been relative peace between the two nations. None of their shinobis get caught up in any debacle, and that was a good thing. And now they were being invited to the chunin exams. This would be a good show of fate to show that Kumo had no resentment against Konoha, and the other way around as well. However, this could also be a big benefit for Kumo as well, as the Raikage thought about it. Konoha was the major village where majority of missions went to. The Raikage even overheard talks that the San was losing clients and business because Konoha was getting majority of them. However, he heard that Minato Namikaze was in talks with the Kazekage. He wasn't sure if that was true or not, but even if, Konoha was always a major village. The chunin exams was a show of fate for the village and their future. And because of their peace treaty, they would be able to attend without any conflicts. And not to mention there will be a buttload of wealthy clients there to see the future and what it has to offer in terms of ninjas and their skills. This is something that he could not afford to pass up on. This will be a big boost in Kumo economics. As he reached and went through his files, pulling out a sheet of paper. On said sheet of paper was the latest report on Team Darui. They were the best genuine team. In only a couple of months, they were able to reach heights that most chunin teams had not even reached yet. Kumo had separate chunin teams that were tied together by 4 members, one of them usually taking the lead. However, despite being a genuine team, Team Darui had excelled and surpassed everyone's expectations when it comes to missions and their successful rate. They had not failed a single mission to date, not even a single one. Team Darui would be the prize of the ball when he sent them, especially Naruto. He will be able to get a lot of clients for Kumo. His popularity within the village was already skyrocketing because of his name being out there and his strength as well. And given his close tie to the Raikage and the 2 Jinchurikis of the village, people know him more so. This was good. Yes, it was. He looked up towards her. Kumo will be joining the exam. She looked at him surprised. "Are you sure about this, sir?" she said. More than anything, he said to her, with a grin on his face, as he already had a big plan. Meanwhile, as Naruto settled down in the water, Samui had went over to the other side, over to the female section. As Naruto relaxed, she was right. The water was magnificent. That is when he heard a strange giggle, as Naruto tilted his head over to the side. However, he went back to relaxing, but the giggle continued. As Naruto frowned, he couldn't close his damn eyes. The giggle was interrupting him. Naruto pulled himself up as he walked in the water, slowly making his way. As he arrived through the steam to see someone, there was a man. As he was leaning against the separation that divided the 2 bathhouses, Naruto noticed a long white hair, similar to his but more spiky. As Naruto got closer, he tilted his head as he saw a strange red marking going down from the man's eye down to his chin. That is when Naruto realized who this person was. He was Jiraiya of the Sannin. Naruto was surprised to see him here, but he guessed he shouldn't be that surprised. Jiraiya was a man that was known to travel all over the elemental nation, and because of the peace treaty that Konoha and Kumo had, he was able to enter the village and arrive to these areas. However, for him to be so bold as the people and the ladies of Kumo, majority of the people inside of this village was ninjas. So if they were to ever find out, they would definitely kick his ass. However, Naruto supposed that this was a good showing of fate after all. In the olden days, you would have never been able to enter another village if you were from another, without being well hunted or killed. But here was a legendary Sannin, said to be one of the powerfulest Konoha ninjas here in Kumo, relaxing and checking out the ladies on the other side. At the academy, they were told about all the famous ninjas of the other villages. There was Jiraiya of the Sannin, Tsunade of the Sannin, and Orochimaru as well, who had betrayed his own village. There was also Minato Namikaze, a very powerful man that was able to single-handedly cause an end to the Third Great Shinobi War by stopping the Hidden Stone forces from attacking Konoha when he slaughtered over 1,000 ninjas. That man was truly the definition of mess around and you find out. After all, he slaughtered 1,000 ninjas in a couple of minutes. No wonder they say that Konoha is the strongest village. However, Naruto knew that his village was also strong as well. After all, the Raikage did not fear Minato because in a test of speed, the Raikage was faster. Yes, many might think otherwise, but without his High-Rishin, Minato was not able to keep up with the Raikage's speed. And that was all natural, something that Naruto respected greatly. Not that he did not respect Minato. He was a very powerful man and Naruto respected power, just like the Raikage. However, curiosity hit Naruto. After all, he was still a growing boy. And not to mention Samui was on that side as well, as that was holding him back from going to peep. However, that also meant that Jiraiya was peeping on her as well, as Naruto could not allow that. Like he said, majority of the ninjas here, well, they're ninjas and not civilians. Naruto brought his hand together and slowly backed away as he went through hand sign before placing his hand in the water. Jiraiya felt it, the spike of chakra. After all, he already knew that Naruto was here. Jiraiya wasn't a fool, and besides, he knew the moment he stepped foot in this village, he was being watched. No doubt the Raikage was alerted of him being here. However, this was neutral grounds because of the peace treaty, and they would not dare to attack him because he would not be doing anything that would cause them to attack him. However, as he felt the spike of chakra, he decided not to move, as a jet of water slammed right in his butt, catching the man off guard as he was blasted above the separation, causing him to collapse on the other side. Jiraiya blinked a few times before he looked up to see angry glares looking down at him as all the ladies picked themselves up, wrapping towels around themselves as they stepped out of the water. Their body were toned and well muscular, making him know that they were all ninjas. Naruto laughed as he heard the chaos on the other side. It sounded rather fun. However, he simply relaxed and enjoyed the chaos that he heard. Around 15 minutes later, a shadow loomed over Naruto, causing him to open his eyes as he saw the fuming Jiraiya standing above him. "What the hell was that for, brat?" he asked. "I'm afraid I don't know what you're talking about," said Naruto. "You don't know what I'm talking about? How about you shooting me in the butt and blasting me over the wall?" "Huh. Can't say I did anything like that. Maybe you're mistaking me for someone else." As Jiraiya grinned at him with a tick on his forehead. However, Jiraiya was certain it was him. Flashback. "You're serious," said Jiraiya as he stood in the office with Minato. Minato folded his arms as he rested his chin on said arms. "Yes," he said. "After all these years, the description, the name, this cannot all be a coincidence." As Minato sighed, "Then why do you look so upset about it?" "I got too jumpy," said Minato. "I let my emotions overtake my actions. I told Kushina and Mitsu about this without even thinking." "What if I'm wrong, Sensei?" said Minato, looking towards Jiraiya. "But you just said I know what I said." "But what if it is a coincidence? I mean, what if another family in Kumo had a child? Majority of ninjas in Kumo have white hair." His eyes were silver. Naruto's eyes were dull blue. And Naruto here was blonde, but it was, well, pale because of his sickness. What if they decide to name their child Naruto? I know it's not a common name, but still. Well, I doubt that anyone in the village would be known as Naruto. But I see where you're coming from. If they have his name, won't they know who he was? Or wouldn't he know who he was? And why wouldn't he come back home? He would, said Minato. Naruto loves his family. There's no doubt about that. You saw the letter. The only reason he did what he did was because he didn't want us to go through pain. He didn't like to see us suffering, that is why he did that. Come on, Minato, said Jiraiya. Don't do this to yourself again. Jiraiya sighed. As he looked towards Minato, who released a heavy sigh as well. Minato jumped the gun. He was so happy, so overjoyed when he saw the memories and he heard the name. He spilled everything without even thinking. He just wanted his wife and younger daughter to feel happy, as he did. They had not told Menma anything about this yet, believing that it was for the best, but he should have kept this between him and Natsume as well, and not spread it, because if it's not Naruto that meant, they would have to go through the pain of knowing that their brother was really gone, and son as well. And that is something that he didn't want them to go through again. A hand was rested on his shoulder as he looked up towards Jiraiya. I'll go there. What? I'll go to the village and gather some information, and I'll try to find out what is going on. Well, I kind of already had a plan in motion. I knew you would, said Jiraiya, so what is it? I'm going to invite them to the chunin exams. This will be a big indication if they let him come or not, so I would be able to know if they know who he is or if they don't. If he's as strong as they say, and they do not know who he is, Kumo would of course let him participate, so they could prove that they're stronger than Konoha. Yes, that is exactly how it would play out, said Jiraiya. And if they know who he is, despite his strength, they would not let him come. So then you can know. However, I'm gonna do some investigation of my own to find out what is going on, so we can hit this thing from two angles. What about the family? How are they taking this? Well, Kushina wanted to pack her things and go there immediately to bring him home. I had to convince her how wrong that was. The backlash of this, if it's not him, and even if it's him, if it were to get out, it could start a war between the two villages. Jiraiya thought about it, as he could already expect Kushina's reaction. But Sensei, said Minato, as his eyes hardened, if it is my son, I am not leaving him there. It doesn't matter what I'll have to do. The tone in his voice. Jiraiya knew that he was dead serious, as Minato loved his family greatly. After the loss of his boy, he promised that he would never allow anything like that happen to his family again. Growing up as an orphan, having a family was a wonderful thing, and Minato wanted to keep them safe. But if that was his son, his blood and flesh, he would save him. There is nothing in this world that would stop him from saving him. It doesn't matter what he has to do. Minato had that look in his eyes. That same look when he had taken on 1,000 men in order to stop the war, when he butchered every single one of them. Let me do my investigation first before you do anything. Just give me a couple of weeks. The chunin exams are not for some time, so just give me the time, okay? Alright, Sensei. I'm counting on you, said Minato, as Jiraiya gave him a smile with a nod. End of flashback. The implications of this actually being Naruto would be very bad. Kumo would definitely want to keep him if his power was that absolute of what Jiraiya was told. However, Minato would not allow him to stay here. The thing was, this was his godson if it was Naruto. But the face, everything, even his voice, yes, it sounded a bit more mature, but it was him. He looked so much like him. His eyes were different, yes. His hair was now fully white and long, like his, but yes, it was Naruto. There was no mistaking that. I take it that you're Naruto. As Naruto blinked and looked at him. You know me. Well, I saw the recognition that you got when you saw me, so you know me as well, don't you? Yeah, of course. You're Jiraiya of the Sanin, but I'm a nobody. How do you know me? Said Naruto. Nobody? Huh. You're one of the top Genin ninjas at Kumo. You've gathered quite the reputation for yourself. I'm not surprised. Well, I am that you know about me, but I'm not surprised that you know this, after all. You are Konoha's spy master, said Naruto looking at him wearily. You got that right, said Jiraiya as he sat down. So what's a man like you doing here? Said Naruto as he noticed the man did not even have a single scar on him despite being pulverized by the girls. Well, that's quite simple, said Jiraiya, as his face turned into a blubbering mess. Blood came from his nose as he poked his fingers together. The girls in Kumo are quite voluptuous, he said, with a perverted grin on his face. As he waited to see Naruto's reaction, Naruto threw his head back as he started to laugh, finding what he just said and did rather, well, amusing. You're quite the pervert, aren't you? Said Naruto. For someone that is so dangerous and feared, you being a pervert make it all the better. After all, we ninjas have to have our little quirks. And you're a pervert. And that's where you're wrong, kid. I'm wrong, said Naruto. I'm no pervert. I am. As Jiraiya got up and went into a pose. A super pervert, he said, with a luscious grin. As Naruto laughed once more. This guy was hilarious. As Jiraiya sat back down, with a small smirk on his face, as he noticed that Naruto seemed to be rather happy. You seem rather happy about that, said Jiraiya. Well, it's not just that, said Naruto. I am happy overall. Because you're here. Because I'm here, said Jiraiya. Yeah, I mean, think about it. In the past, this couldn't have happened. Two different shinobis talking and just laughing amongst one another, not trying to end each other's life. The only thing I want in this world is to keep my loved ones safe and to protect my village with everything I got. So knowing that, things have already come this far where we can sit down and talk to one another without drawing weapons is a really good feeling, said Naruto. As Jiraiya noticed something as Naruto moved his arm. There was a strange mark in his arm, a star. However, hearing Naruto's words, it brought a smile to Jiraiya's face. So you want peace, he said. Of course. Isn't that everyone's dream? To live in a world where you don't have to fight and constantly worry about the safety of your friends and comrades and your family. You know, for someone so young, you're rather mature and insightful, said Jiraiya. But yeah, that's a dream. The big dream. However, most think that it's impossible. Well, they're wrong, said Naruto. Well then, how would you go about it, said Jiraiya. That's simple, said Naruto. Power. Jiraiya raised an eyebrow. All you need is power, said Naruto. Once you have that, you can change everything. If you had enough power, you could stop all of the violence that is happening. You will have more authority. People will follow you because they would see that you're doing the right thing. Jiraiya was taken aback. What the kid was talking about was like becoming a dictator. However, Naruto was not done. Because you will be able to show them that even while you do have power, you can still sympathize and understand them. And therefore they will join you. They will come to understand as well. Because you will make them understand through your actions. And that is what I intend to do one day. I just have to get powerful enough, said Naruto as he looked down toward his hands. There was more than enough death in this world. And one day he intended to do something about that. But he had to be strong enough to do so. As I said before, you're one damn insightful kid. Your parents taught you well. Huh. As Naruto looked down, I never really knew them actually. As Jiraiya was absorbing all the information that he was getting. Well, this was a wonderful chat, but I have to get going. I hope we can meet again sometime in the future. You're a really awesome person to talk to, said Naruto, as he got up with his towel around his waist, waving his hand behind him as he walked off. As Jiraiya watched him leave, he knew that he could not pry too much. Jiraiya noticed that despite what the kid was talking about, he did not reveal much about himself, other than he did not know his parents. Jiraiya did not know if he was subconsciously doing it or what, but he drew the attention away from himself. Despite Them being at peace right now, there was no need to expose yourself much. And he was pretty smart for his age as well, already understanding majority of what was taking place, and also how Jiraiya got that information on him. Yes, he was one damn smart kid, just like Minato when he was younger. The face, the shape was the same, but because he no longer produced a sickness, his face had filled out. There was no mistaking it, that was Naruto. However, did he know, or did he not? Jiraiya was not sure, because he didn't know his name, so how would he know his name without remembering anything else about his family? He did not seem surprised to see him. Well, surprised in seeing a ninja from another village. And Naruto would have remembered him, after all they talked a lot when he was younger, back in the village, when Jiraiya came to visit. And because Naruto could not really go anywhere, Jiraiya had told him stories about his adventures. Yes, because the kid was one easy kid to talk to. And now sitting here, Jiraiya felt the same way, like he was talking to Naruto back in his bed, as he sat, and told him stories of his younger days with him and his team. Every time he would come to visit, he spent hours talking with Naruto. As he talked about the past, the kid was always delightful to hear his stories. The other two listened to him sometime, but Naruto was always delightful, and that made Jiraiya felt happy that someone was sitting down and hearing his stories and complimenting how awesome they were. Him and the kid had a bond, and he was proud to be his godfather. And he felt the same way talking to him. The feeling was the same. There was no mistaking it. It was him. He had to report back in. He had to return back to the village. He's been gone for some time now. Today there was a stroke of luck for Naruto to come to him instead of him going to him. Jiraiya could not really go around the village and go anywhere that he wanted. After all, this was not Konoha. And he was about to give up, but luck had struck him rather violently. And here it was. Naruto had come to him instead of him going to him. And it was wonderful, because he now had more information. Meanwhile, as Naruto got dressed and stepped out, he could sense the Anvus. Jiraiya was not totally freed, as Naruto could sense the Anvus all around. They were perhaps watching over him, because despite the man being friendly and nice, he was still Konoha's spy master, and that was someone dangerous to have in your village. But Naruto believed that he wouldn't cause any problem. He didn't know why, but he just believed in the man. Naruto felt strange. It was so easy to talk to Jiraiya. It was like he knew him for a very long time now, despite first meeting him. And the man seemed to be an honorable one as well. Yes, he was a pervert, but everyone deserved their little quirks. After all, they were ninjas. They fought and killed. To having a quirk to block that out, it was a good thing. Time skip. A day later. I thought it was our day off, Amoy said, hands behind his head as he walked up to the field, Karu by his side. You're telling me, said Naruto, as he sat on the log. What with the early morning call? Come on, you idiot, it must be something big. Why would Sensei call us out here if it was not? I guess, said Naruto as he leaned back. Suddenly, in a lightning sunshine, Darui appeared. You, he said, looking towards them. The three of you seemed chipper, as the three of them glared at him, making him chuckle awkwardly. Well, you must be wondering why I called you out here, on your day off. Exactly, Amoy said, as he stretched. The chunin exams. The three of them paused. They looked towards him. Surprise. It's only been a few months since they were given the title of genin. So they were surprised. Yes, their skills were high above genin level, but still. Most people did not take the chunin exams after 6 months to be exact. Samui had to wait until 1 year and 3 months. She took the exam here in Kumo, but Naruto was still going to the academy at that point. And she was now a chunin of the village, able to go on higher rank missions with different members and knowing others. She was working for the status of jonin, and she was coming a long way, as Naruto doubted that it would take long for her to get that status. After all, she had become his sister, apprentice, so Naruto would not be surprised if she get it soon. However, they were going to be taking the exam From what he was told, the exam was extremely difficult. It changed from the villages that the exams was kept at though, as Naruto looked towards him. However, the time does not match up. Where will the exam be taking place? As perceptive as always. Konoha, Darui said. So, we'll be going to Konoha, Amoy said as he started to panic. But what if Karu placed a hand over his mouth, stopping him from going on his rant? We've been at peace with them for some time now. I doubt that our Raikage would allow anything bad to happen. If he's gonna send us there, he must have checked over everything. Have faith in our leader, she said, as she stopped Amoy from going on his rant. Well, I'm pumped, said Naruto as he jumped to his feet, a bright smile on his face, to be able to participate in that exam and face off against ninjas from different nations, to test my skills against them in a friendly, fun competition. It's gonna be awesome. About that word, friendly, said Darui. Yeah, I know that it's gonna be hard and dangerous as well. As Naruto grabbed both of his teammates, placing the arm around their neck. But I have faith in us. We can do this, he said, giving them all a grin. As that brought a smile to the both of their faces. His laughter was so infectious. When is this, Sensei? Karu asked. We'll be leaving in 2 days. It will take us a couple of days to get to Konoha. I believe that none of you are against this, right? He said, looking at all of them. Well, you already know my answer, said Naruto, as Karu grinned at that. And I'm in as well, she said, as he glanced towards Amoy. Well, if these two are going, he said, then I'm going as well. After all, I can't let my team down. Even though there might be some... A hand was once again placed over his mouth. I told you, no more of your stupid imaginations, especially now that we're going to be going to another village. It will just bring us problem, Karu said. He rolled his eyes at that, as Darui looked down towards his team. The greatest team he had the privilege of training, as he knew that each and every one of them would be great. Time skip. As Naruto stood in front of Yujito, as he was packed and ready. You have everything, she asked. Yes, said Naruto with a sigh. I have everything. The reason why. She was checking to make sure he had everything over and over again, to make sure that he was prepared. When she was told about this, she went over countless hours with him, making sure that he understand where he was going and he had to be safe and be careful as well. As Naruto told her that he would over and over again. She bumped him on the head at his tone. What? I can't be worried about my little brother. Of course you can, said Naruto. But it's just, I'm gonna be fine. I know, she said with a smile. However, what about... She glanced towards his arm. It's still under control, said Naruto. I promise. I won't let that happen again. And my promise is my bond, said Naruto. Well, it has been 3 weeks. And even after the testing with the Raikage himself, you've kept everything under control. She smiled at him. The Raikage had decided to see if Naruto would be able to handle himself in a fight after what had happened, to see if that woman would take control again, but it did not happen. And he was taken off missions for an entire week after the mission in Land of Wave. But once they saw that he had things under control, they allowed him to once again take back missions. And so far there has not been an incident. He seemed to have it under control, so that was good. Alright, just be careful and do your best. I have no doubt that you will dominate the chunin exams and give Kumo a greater reputation than before. So go ahead and kick those Konoha ninjas' ass, she said to him with a toothy grin, making Naruto grin back. When will you guys be coming, Naruto asked as he looked at her. I will be accompanying the Raikage to the final test that you'll be taking to oversee you in the exams. After all, I have no doubt that you'll make it to the finals. Not a shred, she said, as she knew that Naruto would dominate the matches. Yes, the Genins of this year might have gotten stronger, but her Naruto was special, greatly so. That is why she had no doubt that he would dominate the matches. And will be there to cheer you on, said Naruto, as she leaned in and kissed him on the forehead. making him blush in embarrassment. "Oh, come on," said Naruto as he rubbed his forehead, making her chuckle at that. With that, she see him off. He has grown so much. Since the first day that they found him, she knew that he was special. And then she ended up taking him in as her brother. And, well, they bonded. She lost her parents at a very early age. She had friends and people that were close to her, but no real family. Her mother and father were two special people of the village. There was a reason why she was chosen as a two-tailed container. They were great friends of the Raikage as well, and she was also a special child. She had strong chakra for her age, immensely strong chakra. Chakra that allowed her to bond with the Nibi, and also control the power as well. "Don't worry, kitten. He's gonna be just fine," she heard a voice in her head. "I know. I just can't help but worry." "It's natural," the Nibi told her, as she watches Naruto leave. Meanwhile, at Konoha, Kushina looked down towards the sleeping baby boy. Menma was sleeping, as she looked down towards him with a smile on her face. It has been a few weeks since she found out that Naruto was alive. She felt terrible, that she believed that he was dead, and the entire time he was out there, taken by another village. She was angered, very, very angry about it. That Kumo took her son. It was just like when they came after her when she was younger, and she was saved by Minato. Speaking of Minato, she had to apologize to him. The both of them had gotten into a fight. She was not thinking too straight, demanding that they go and take Naruto back, as she was not thinking about the implications that this will just bring up. Even if it was not him, things would not be that simple, and she kind of lashed out in a bad way at him. She apologized for it, but he understood that she was under a lot of stress, but she had to understand that he was under a lot of stress as well. They were both parents after all. However, her girls were with her as well, as they wanted their brother back. But they had to think they could not just jump into anything like this. They had to think it over and not do anything stupid. And Minato was right about that. But they will get Naruto back, he assured them that. If it was Naruto, which he was sure that it was, to comfort them, they will get him back. Yes, they will. As she looked down towards Menma with a sweet smile, he would get to meet his big brother after all. That brought a happy tear to her eye, as she watched him sleep, before heading out. Meanwhile, both girls were locked in a hand-to-hand combat, as fists were traded. Blows made connection, as both girls clashed against each other furiously. The battle was a bit more intense than it should be, as the both of them clashed, their palms smacking against each other, feet smacking against each other, as they pounce and hit and knock. The both of them fell over. Despite them being Uzumakis, they were exhausted. The girls have been going at it for some time now, and they were exhausted as they panted on the ground. They glanced toward each other at the corner of their eye. They weren't mad at each other or anything. It's just fighting was a good way to release their stress. And that is exactly what they were doing. They pulled themselves up, as they were covered in sweat. They were currently in the backyard of their house. The training field over to the side was a wreck. They were practicing ninjutsu earlier. Natsume more so than Mito. After all, she was the one that took after her father in ninjutsu. However, Mito took after her mother in the other areas, Fuinjutsu and also Kinjutsu as well. But in terms of hand-to-hand combat, the both of them had the excel Uzumaki strength, and also the speed of their father as well. But Natsume was a bit faster than Mito though. But Mito's reflex was a bit sharper than Natsume. The both of them had their flaws, and the both of them had something else that they excel in. With that, both girls looked toward each other. Both of them had the same mindset at the moment. "So, you think it's really him?" Mito said. She had been shaken by her brother's death, as she never got to see him wear that necklace. So she locked everything away. Yes, she locked her feelings away as well. That is why when Natsume said that Naruto was alive, she said that she didn't believe so after all. Describing the scene that their mother and father had saw, how could he be alive after that? So she shut her emotions away about her brother. Even when her new baby brother was going to be born, she disliked him because she thought that he was going to replace Naruto. And she was the one that had shut her emotions off at him. But that never happened. And now she loved Menma. But Natsume never gave up. She always insists that Naruto was out there and she was going to find him. Mito felt horrible for giving up, because she was too afraid to know if he was still alive, and yet they could not find him. She sighed. "He is alive," said Natsume, "and it's him. There is too much evidence for it not to be him." "I know what you're saying, but no buts," Natsume said. "Just agree with me this once. No buts, no ifs, nothing, it's him. And we're going to get him back. And everything's going to return back to what it was before. And this time we'll have Naruto by our side. He will get to achieve what he always wanted, to become a ninja of Konoha and not any other village. And we'll help him. And we'll grow strong together. Alright?" As Mito opened her mouth, "Just say it, come on." Mito sighed. "Alright," she said. "I'm sorry for always telling you that. You were wrong. I know that has caused us to drift a bit. But it's alright, I understand. We both process pain in two different ways. So there's no need to explain." She smiled at her sister at hearing that. As she got to her feet, helping her sister up, as the both of them walked off. Time skip. A few days later, Natsume stood in front of Kakashi. As she looked at the paper in her hand, Kakashi waved goodbye as he poofed away. He just told them about the chunin exams that is gonna be happening in 3 days. As she looked over towards Sakura, and then towards Sasuke. Sasuke had a grin on his face, a challenging look in his eyes. This was something that he wanted. Sakura, on the other hand, she did not back down. She had a look of determination in her eyes as well. Sakura had really increased in her training over the past couple of months. She did not want to be left behind by her teammates. Even her outfit had changed as well, as she was now wearing a battle kimono, black shorts underneath. The kimono was dark red, gloves on her hands. She also cut her hair, as it was much more shorter than before. There was tape on her hands as well. Kushina Uzumaki had gave her a scroll. A scroll of a fighting style that would better suit her needs. Not to mention scrolls that contained chakra control exercises. Sakura had been by the house on many occasions. However, she decided to talk to a powerful Kunoichi for help. Kushina was all too happy to show her a few tips after talking to Kakashi. That said, her increase in her chakra capacity. After all, she needs to improve her body physical state as well. And that include eating much more. Because she was always trying to diet. But now that she was taking things seriously, she has really excelled. As she wanted to be there to fight for her teammates as well. She didn't want to be the one that is always getting put down and defeated. The three of them looked at each other. "Well, I'm in," said Natsume. "There's no way in hell I'm turning this down." As they looked towards Sasuke. "Tuh, do you even have to ask?" Sasuke said. "Sakura," Natsume said. "I know that this might... No. I'm in." "That easy?" "Yes. I feel like I'm ready to challenge myself to something more harder. I may not pass, I may not become a chunin this time, but I won't give up. I'll try again." There was a big smile on Natsume's face. She threw both arms around both of her teammates, a big grin resting over her face. "Alright guys, let's dominate this chunin exam." Meanwhile, at the gate, as Naruto stood there. "Hey, what's wrong?" Amoy's voice finally broke out to him. "Oh, it's nothing," said Naruto. However, the moment that he stepped foot on these grounds, the moment that his feet passed the gates, he was hit with a strange feeling that he couldn't really understand. As he walked, stepping foot into Konoha, as a distance away someone was watching him. Said person vanished and arrived to the office. The person bowed, showing that it was none other than Yujiro Otsutsuki. Sir, he's here. As Minato looked up towards her. Hearing that, after Jiraiya had returned and report back into him, the Raikage decided to agree and participate in the exam, as he had sent Yujiro to keep a watch out, having a description of Naruto, and she saw him. Minato felt a bit scared, seeing his son after all these years. If he indeed did not remember them, he will find a way for him to remember, and he will get his son back. Jiraiya was sure about it. He was confident that it was Naruto. And Minato believed it sensei. So his son has returned. His son has returned to his home. But guys, if you end subscribe right here. If you want to see next part and do, like, subscribe, comment down below, and turn on that bell notification stay posted. Remember, share with all of your friends in social media platform. But I'm out for now. See you guys soon. Peace.